Olenka, the daughter of the retired collegiate assessor Plemyanikov, was sitting on her veranda, deep in thought. It was hot outdoors. The city was filled with suffocating heat. Clouds of smoke and dust hung over the houses, and everything seemed yellowed by the scorching sun. But behind the Plemyanikovs' house, in the garden, it was fresh and cool. Here, in the shade of old lindens and birches, one did not feel the city dust, and the air seemed clearer. Olenka sat there, lost in thought. She lived, as people said, with another person's soul. Without someone she could love, someone to whom she could give her affection, she could not live a single day. The moment she fell in love with a man, she instantly adopted his views, his beliefs, his words. Everything he thought seemed to her the most reasonable and correct. She lived only a reflected life. Any other life did not interest her. Her first husband was the owner of a theater, Kukin, a small, thin man with constantly tearful eyes. He would come to Olga Plemyanikov every morning to complain about the audience, the rain, losses, and the unfairness of the public. "Ah, Olenka," he would say, "the audience is uneducated, rude, they understand nothing. And the weather, this terrible weather, rain every evening, losses, ruin, what is there to do?" Olenka listened with sympathy and repeated, "Yes, Alexei Semyonovich. Yes, dear. Yes, that is true. Of course things are going badly for you. Ah, how unfair this is." She fell in love with him, married him, and began repeating everything he said. Whenever she had to speak with someone about the theater or the audience, she expressed his views, even using his tone. But Kukin went abroad and died there of fever. News of his death was brought, and Olenka grieved for a long time, quietly but deeply. In time, she grew attached to the neighbor, Vasily Petrovich Pustovalov, the owner of a lumber warehouse. Pustovalov was a calm, serious man who loved order and precision, and he believed that work was the most important thing in life. He left for the warehouse at 8 in the morning and returned home exactly at 9 in the evening. Olenka soon became attached to him and again began living with his thoughts. Now she spoke only about timber goods. "Firewood is expensive nowadays. Lumber must be transported at night in dry weather," she said. "Elm boards are the strongest." She repeated everything he said with the same seriousness with which he spoke. But Pustovalov died. He caught cold in the rain, and 3 days later he was gone, and Olenka was left orphaned again. She cried and suffered, but soon she grew attached to the new tenant of the wing, a veterinary doctor named Smirnin. Smirnin was an educated and kind man, but he was tormented by family troubles. His wife had left him for another man, and his son lived with his mother-in-law. He complained about life, about loneliness, about the rudeness of people. Olenka listened and repeated, "Yes, Vladimir Platonovich, yes, dear. Veterinary work is the most important thing. One must watch over the cattle." And again she lived only through his thoughts and repeated everything he said about cow diseases, swine cholera, and veterinary duties. But then Smirnin's wife returned, and he moved back with him and their son. And Olenka was left alone. Years passed. Olenka grew older, but she still could not live with someone to whom she could give her soul. And then Smirnin appeared in the city again. He now served in the regiment as a veterinary doctor. He placed his son Sasha to live with Olenka so that the boy could attend gymnasium. And Olenka came alive again. She loved the boy with all her soul. She cooked his meals, walked him to the gymnasium, and welcomed him home. His lessons and concerns became her entire life. Education is the most important thing, she would say. One must study, study. If anyone asked her anything, she answered. Sasha said, "At the gymnasium they think so. Studying is more important than anything." She repeated everything the boy said, his words, his thoughts. Sometimes Sasha became annoyed. "Ah, Auntie, stop repeating everything after me, let me breathe." But she could not do otherwise. Her soul could live only in another person, reflecting his feelings, thoughts, and desires. And in this quiet and devoted life,
she finally found her true happiness.